Hi, thank you for clicking on this video. My name is Phil, aka Phil, and if you're a Nikon ZF user or owner, you might have heard last week that Nikon has released a new firmware update for the Nikon ZF firmware version 2.0. That firmware update was quite big, since that firmware gives the Nikon ZF a lot of new features, but for this video I just want to talk about the ISO dial, because now the ISO dial or the auto ISO dial is working as we all expected when it was released, and now it's fixed, you could say. And I will tell you how to set this up on your Nikon ZF, and also what I discovered, that this new auto ISO feature is not that thought out as I would expected it to be, so stay tuned for that. But now how to set it up. Now we have here the Nikon ZF, and as already mentioned, first step you have to do is to do the firmware update on your Nikon ZF. So basically just download the firmware file from the Nikon webpage and put it directly onto your SD card, not in any folder, and then back into your camera and hit update, and then just wait until the update has been finished. And regarding the setup for the ISO dial, it's important that your Nikon ZF is on manual mode, so make sure that this dial is not in any other automatic or half automatic mode. It only works on the manual mode, so put it on M. Then you have to set up basically two banks, you could say. The first one is the C one, which will function as the auto ISO setting, and then you have to set up also a setting configuration for a specific, how the camera should react if it's set up for a specific ISO. So the first thing you have to do is just set it here on C, go back into the menu, select ISO sensitivity settings, and set up auto ISO sensitivity control on. That's the first setting. Now you see that basically when I have my ISO dial on C, that the ISO will adjust accordingly how much light it gets, and that's what we wanted to have. But now we also want to set up the ISO dial to behave correctly if there's any kind of ISO setting, for example 100. So I will put the dial into 100 precision, back into the menu, ISO sensitivity, and here it's important that you turn it off. And this setting will take over for all the specific ISO dials. So if you now put in your ISO specifically, like here 100, the camera will also have it set it up, and as soon you adjust the dial accordingly, like you set it up on the dial, it's dialing in the correct ISO value, and as soon you go back to C, which we set up as an auto ISO setting, the camera will behave accordingly. Your ISO setting is now stored and saved for photography. Even if you switch here into your black and white mode, your ZF will also behave accordingly, since you set everything up for the photography settings. Now the thing which surprised me is that this ISO control setting dial, having the C on auto ISO and also setting it up for a specific number, as I showcased you right now, this is unfortunately not working if you switch your Nikon ZF into video mode. Although if you go into the menus, we basically have the same menu structure. So now I'm also in C, I'm in the video mode, and also in the video menu system. When I go now into the ISO sensitivity settings for C, it would be auto ISO on, so that would be correct. And yeah, you see that the auto ISO is behaving accordingly. But when I turn the dial into a specific ISO value, like 100, go back into the menu, ISO sensitivity settings, turn it off, like we did it in photo mode, and you see that the camera does behave accordingly if you turn on the specific dial, right? So for example, I have here ISO 800, it's having ISO 800, but as soon as I put it back into C, the auto ISO has vanished. And if we go back into the menu, which we set up for the specific ISO dial or ISO value as ISO sensitivity off, now we are in C, and here it's also off. That means the newly updated auto ISO settings is working perfectly for photography, but for the same logic, it's not carried on to video for whatever reason. So yes, that's my surprise discovery regarding the new feature of the auto ISO dial, that it only works for photography. And to Nikon's defense, that's also what they wrote into the logs or the features of the firmware 2.0. You see here they specifically highlight that it's only in photography mode. That's fair, and I also think that most people use the Nikon ZF mostly for photography. But yeah, as a long-term viewer, you know that I'm built up my channel basically with this camera by featuring it, but also using it as my film camera to record these videos. And therefore I'm a little bit surprised and a little bit disappointed that that logic of the auto ISO was not carried over into the video mode. And in case it's a user error by my end, please let me know if you know how to set this the new auto ISO dial into a video mode. From my testing, I was not able to put it in as I showed you. And as I said, in the logs of the new firmware update, Nikon also highlighted only for photography. So in that regard, I'm a little bit confused how Nikon handles the video features on their cameras. A lot of also pro users who have tried the latest Nikon cameras, Z8, Z9, Z6 III, the newest release Z5 II. All these cameras have a lot of amazing video features, but for example, it's until today or at the time of this recording, it's not possible to record a backup on your second SD card. So you are only able to have backups when you're shooting photography, but it's not possible if you shoot video, so you are not able to have a backup on your second SD card. If you made it until this point, thank you very much for your time watching. You're the one who deserves the like for that. I just wanted to make a quick video about the new auto ISO feature on the Nikon ZF with the new firmware update. And as I mentioned, the findings I had regarding the video mode. Again, if you know how to set that up in video, let me know and I will pin your comment under my video. But yes, that's all. If you want to support my small little channel, check the affiliate links below in the description, or buy my coffee, link also in the description. And if you're curious what's in my Nikon ZF camera bag, just click on this video.